Six Nations Week 4, and the Grand Slam is still potentially on for Wales after going up to Scotland and getting a 18-11 win. It was a hard-fought one. Definitely a tough game. I wasn't able to see this one live, but I managed to shut myself off from the media of the world and just watched it now. Yeah, they certainly earned that win in the second half. Disappointing for Scotland, but you'd have to say improved from what we've seen in the Six Nations. It's been a pretty disrupted Six Nations for them, and after that loss to the French, which was a bit disjointed, this one, albeit a loss, is one that looks slightly more encouraging. In terms of the scoring, Scotland opened the scoring with a penalty, made it 3-0. In the 12th minute, Adams went around Kinghorn on the left wing, scored a try. They converted it, made it 7-3, so that lead changed, and that was the only lead change of the game. From there on out, Wales were in front. Scotland kicked the penalty following a nice little Darcy Graham break, and he had a good game. Made it 6-7, so it was within a point. But Wales kicked another penalty, 10-6. Jonathan Davis scored a try after about 23 phases of Welsh attack. They were just hammering and hammering and hammering, and Scotland were doing a good job of holding out, but I guess nobody can hold out forever unless maybe even Wales cracked it this game, but it did take some magic. Anyway, it all came from a scrum penalty, so that was pretty costly for Scotland. That scrum penalty led to that try 23 phases later. They missed the conversion, made it 15 points to 6, and Wales hit the post with a penalty. They probably should have got that for Anscombe just before half-time. So at half-time it was 15 points to 6, still pretty close. Wales were dominant in that first half, more possession, more territory. But I don't know if the pitch is tilted out there at Murrayfield or what, because the second half, Scotland came alive. They scored the only try of the second half. Graham, it was a magic try from a scrum move. It was first phase ball. It took that magic to crack that Welsh defence, because the Welsh were just ironclad at most points. But yeah, that made it 11 points to 15. So within touching distance. And, Scotland were attacking for large periods, but just couldn't get it done. Wales kicked the penalty right towards the end. So that's 18 points to 11, and that was the final score. That's how it finished. So just the 3 points in the second half for Wales, but defensively able to hold. So, I mean, yeah, it was a pretty interesting game. I know some of the media, I did have a brief read, have kind of called it an ugly one. I don't know, man. I enjoyed this game. It's enjoyable for me to see defensive teams shutting each other down, as well as the odd bit of magic. They started sharp, but there was moments where there were mix-ups. Like, I'm talking Wales here. Like Moriarty and Gareth Davis just let a ball bounce, and then they ended up knocking it on. It was a kick over, so that was a bit disconcerting. Scotland put some pressure on, went 10 plus phases of their own, but ended up not doing anything. Scotland, I suppose, will kind of rue the fact that Seymour went off after about 20 minutes injured, Kinghorn went off after about 30, and then even Graham went off just after the hour. So their back three was just decimated, and they ended up playing Price on one wing. So yeah, that wasn't ideal, I suppose. I mean, they looked at putting... I don't think it was ever going to happen. The commentators thought at one moment Laidlaw was going to go out into the wing, and it's like, no, that's not going to work. But yeah, I mean, neither side was perfect. Russell missed touch at one point. Wales kicked it out on the full at one point. So yeah, there were issues. Alan Dell had a massive line break that Liam Williams ended up having to stop, and that cost him his body because he had to go off after that. He was looking very ginger, and that was one of those chances for Scotland to score, because Liam Williams was clearly in a lot of pain, and they shifted the ball out to that wing that he was defending on, but then they ended up chucking the ball straight out into touch. So it's that kind of thing that they weren't able to take advantage of. But Wales were able to get turnovers kind of in their own 22 and kick it out, or kick it back and just kind of hold. In terms of stats, you had Tipperick, like 24 out of 24 tackles, and a bunch of other guys making a lot of tackles as well. So defensively, very solid. Although Hamish Watson came on and got like 10 tackle busts. I know he was on early in the piece for HIA for Richie, but he went back off when he passed that that test. But Watson just came on and looked, yeah, he looked dangerous. So you kind of got to wonder if Scotland hadn't had this many injuries, Six Nations, would they've been able to push a bit more. Either way, I look at it as kind of building depth for the World Cup. So that's the bright side, if there is one, for this kind of little losing run they're on. Gray had 15 out of 16 tackles as well, plus a line-out steal, so he was putting in a solid shift. I believe Hadley Parks got man of the match. And this one, it could have gone to multiple guys from Wales, to be fair. But, yeah, it was a pretty good game. Full-time stats, Scotland had more run meters, 387 to 238. Had more possession, 60-40. I know Alan Wynne-Jones kind of said it was maybe 50-50 and that, you know, we won the first half, they won the second half. But in terms of just possession and territory, Scotland had like 75% possession and 78% territory in that second half. So the overall numbers are 60-40, even if Wales did edge the first half. But that second half was really just all Scotland. But like they said, credit to Sean Edwards with that defence. It is a very, very hard thing to break down. Like I said, that one try for Scotland was proper bit of magic, and that's what it took to break it down. Scotland's defence was solid as well, man. 90% tackle rate at 132 tackles. Wales 83%, making 170. So if you take out Hamish Watson's busted tackles there, their tackle percentage probably goes up a fair bit, but he was causing some problems with some tired legs. But yeah, good game. In terms of the championship, it makes that final week an absolute cracker. So all eyes are going to be on that Wales-Ireland game. England still need to get the job done over France, but over Scotland. But at Twickenham, that's going to be probable. At least they're going to be heavy favourites for that one. You guys let me know your thoughts on the game. How did you think it went? Do you think Scotland could have edged it? How much credit do you give to that Wales defence? How do you see things going next week? It's all very interesting. Yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.